Hi guys, today we are going to work on candy in the style of pop art. So popular candy with a pop art style. What that looks like, it's going to be big, it's going to be brightly colored, and it's really going to pop, okay? So I'm not going to do Smarties today because I already did Smarties, but I am going to talk you through a couple other ones that you could do if you want to. So I want you to research your favorite candy. I want you to kind of zoom in for this project and do it up close. So one real obvious kind of simpler example that you could choose might be like a conversation heart, perhaps because Valentine's Day is coming up. So you could make this a dual purpose assignment and you could draw a conversation heart and then have it also be a Valentine's gift for somebody. So I drew the heart and now I'm drawing the bottom layer of the heart to kind of show that it's 3D. And we'll color these different colors so that it looks darker. And then if you want, you can write, will you be my Valentine, hug me, I love you, or something like that. And conversation hearts usually have kind of like text message lingo, and so it might say, like, instead of the official I love you, it might say I love you, or something like that. And then I feel like this needs to be bigger, so I might make that a little bit bigger when I actually paint it. But then you're gonna make these bright colors, and so like the typical conversation heart is usually like a light pink with a darker pink shadow underneath. So I'm going to make mine dark pink. If you've got watercolors, great. If you want to use oil pastels, that'll work too. But we're going to make this part underneath a darker color so it looks like it kind of has a shadow and then it's the underside of it. And then instead of making it just plain pink, I'm going to add some white here in a second. If you got watercolor, you just need to add more water to the areas you want to be lighter, right? And you don't have to pick a conversation heart for your project. You could do whatever you want. You could do M&Ms, double bubble, you could do Kit Kat bars, Hershey's Kisses, what else? Lemon heads, warheads, lollipop, Milky Way, Snickers, Dots, Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, you can choose whatever you want to do. You don't have to do what I'm doing. But I'll do a couple different ones so we can have something to work with. Alright, so now I've drawn the underside of my conversation heart for our dual purpose art project that we could use for Valentine's Day. Now I'm going to get my paintbrush pretty wet. I'm using acrylic paint, but you guys, if you're going to use watercolor, then you don't need to do this part. But I'm putting white acrylic paint on there, super wet, so I can just add a little bit of pink on top of it to mix it. Same color pink, but now I'm going to mix it with the white and the water because I want it to be light, because the light is bouncing off and hitting this part of my conversation heart. So I'm going to be super light. So I'm going to keep adding water and white paint to this. It's okay if you can see the letters through it, because then it'll be pretty easy to go over those letters in a minute with a darker pink color again. you have watercolor, or if you're using pastels or something, just do a lighter version of whatever color you are picking. You don't have to use pink either. I'm just using pink because it's like the most well known and it's the picture of the one on the box. Alright, so we got our conversation heart now. And now I'm going to write I love you in the original color down there, like below. But I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, I think. There's my I. Oops, too much paint. What are some other things that conversation hearts usually say? Like, see you later, or hugs, or something like that. Okay, and so that's it for that, but it's not done yet as far as pop art goes. If you're going to do pop art, you got to make the background obnoxiously bright colored too, so I would probably pick something like a blue to contrast that pink if it were me. You can use oil pastels for this too if you don't have acrylic paint. But you really kind of want to pick a color that stands out. So for example, while I was doing my Smarties one, I chose to use all the colors of the rainbow for my Smarties, so I had to pick a color for the background that wasn't in my, I need more blue, wasn't in my Smartie color, which was kind of hard, but the only color I didn't use was pink, so I went ahead and decided to use pink for my background, because I used red, orange, yellow, green, blue, but no, oh, and I used purple, but not pink. Hallelujah. It's really gonna pop. Now, if you're going to do something like M&M's or Skittles or something, this would be a similar setup. You could do a giant round Skittle or M&M. Just, you know, leave the white part of the letter, the S or the M, blank. And then go back in and paint your Skittle or M&M like a super bright color. And then paint the background a contrasting color. So like if you chose to do the yellow M&M, you could do a blue background or something to make it pop. Or if you did the red M&M, do like a yellow purple background or something like that. You could even do black if you want. For this. You should be able to do this pretty easily, I would think, with watercolor too. So, less paint, more water. I chose to do acrylic this time just because I don't normally use it for school art. Alright, so we got our finished, pretty finished project, our pop art, conversation art, and you could give this somebody for Valentine's Day if you wanted to, or just keep it for us. So here, that's what my Smarties one turned out like. Did the bright colors in the middle, then I did the lighter colors for the actual candy, and then I made my background pink. I decided to put some black in there just for the heck of it to see what it would look like. And I outlined my Smarties with black to make it pop. So that's my Smarties. And here is my conversation heart. I think I'm going to try and do one more while I'm on here with you. If my Smarties is dry, which I think it is. Oops. Alright, you know which one I really want to do is the Hershey's Kiss. One of my other students said that they were going to do the Hershey's Kiss. I think that would be a good one to do. Also, you could use it for Valentine's Day if you want and give it to somebody. Again, you don't have to do the ones I'm choosing. You can pick whatever candy you want to use. So there's a basic outline of a Hershey's Kiss. And then it looks like we have kind of a big line here that kind of goes up into a twist, because it's foil that's twisting. So we're going to have to show that we're twisting. The foil is twisting up here. And there's a lot of lines to show the foil is twisting. So then when it gets up here, and then out of the top comes the Hershey's. And it says I have a friend who lives in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and she works for Hershey. It's pretty cool. Looks like I'm not doing this totally right. It needs to look like that is coming out of the top there. Something like that. Okay, and then because it is metal and it has kind of reflections happening, it looks like down here this area is really dark, like it's a deep fold. This one might even be better done with just pencil, just because the amount of work that's going to go into this. Okay, so there's this layer about here that's super dark all the way across. And then there's like another layer above that, which is kind of like a little bit dark. And then below it's the same thing. So these are going to be like dark gray and lighter gray, and then the rest of it's going to be like silver and white looking colors. And the bottom is super dark because it's sitting on the bottom. Alright, something like this for our Hershey Kiss. So I'm going to need some black and I'm going to need some white, and I'm going to need a different paintbrush. So it's not quite black, it's more like a dark gray. So that's what I'm going to start with right here. We'll see how it goes, guys. I haven't done this before. doing this super dark layer, and I also kind of want to use that same color for the main folds and lines that we see. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I've mixed a lot of water with this to the point where it almost is like a watercolor gray that I'm dealing with right now. These probably should be a little thinner than I'm drawing them, but it's pop art, so why not? Why not? So if you don't know much about pop art, it's an art movement that gained a lot of fame from artist Andy Warhol. And he is the guy who did like the famous large scale paintings of Campbell's soup cans you've probably seen before, and he did a lot of really bright, obnoxiously colored prints of famous people like Madonna, for example. Or not Madonna, sorry, I get her confused with Marilyn Monroe sometimes. Marilyn Monroe, not Madonna, of Marilyn Monroe. So he's got like he'll have like 4 pictures of the same picture of Marilyn Monroe, and then they'll be like super bright neon colors, like even clashy, I would say clashy colors of Marilyn Monroe. Madonna, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, so you've probably seen them on t-shirts and stuff because they're still kind of a popular art, like a retro pop art kind of thing. And so from that came this movement where people were painting popular brands, you know, brightly with super bright colors and close up and larger than life, just big, and just taking advantage of those popular products by putting them into paintings. So that's kind of where this started. Alright, so now I'm going to need more of a lighter gray. Looks like. And for that one I'm going to be doing it like kind of like this. If you don't have paint, don't worry, you can be doing this with your colored pencils or with your, oops, I did that wrong, or with your pastel or your watercolor. Mine is too watery right now, so I'm trying to add some more paint back into it because all I'm getting is the watery look and I don't like it. And then I might go back and kind of blend this darker color in a little bit better with that gray that I just added. Alright, so something like this. We've got the basis of our Hershey's Kiss. Might go in and just add like a couple lines next to these other lines that are just lighter. Alright, so there you have a very pop art version of a Hershey Kiss. And then what I would probably do next is attack this Hershey Label, which you want a lot of white in there, unless you're using watercolor or something, or you don't have white, then don't worry about white, but I'm going to put some white in there, and then I'm going to take just a sliver of blue to show like the creases and folds, because there's like a crease. Oops, that's way too wet. There we go. There's like a crease right here. If you're using watercolor, maybe just put like a smidge of blue, because I'm using way too much blue. Definitely didn't need that much. I wanted to have just a smidge of blue so it looked like it was kind of folded, but that's not what happened here. It's alright. Oh wow, you can't even see it. You can't even see how blue that turned out on my end. Anyway, it turned out a lot more blue than I had hoped it was going to. Whoops! Alright, so now I'm going to go back in with my tiny brush and trying to outline the letters for Hershey. Okay, so I think I still had too much white on there, and that's why my letters aren't coming out very bright, and that's okay. My R turned out super dark. You can see that one really well. There you are. So then, because blue seems to go really well with this color, I mean, you could do a different color, you don't have to, but I think I'm going to use blue because it'll pull from that blue and it might actually make this pop. So you could do whatever color you want. You might want to do like a bright yellow or something for the background. I think I'm going to do, I might even do a little bit of turquoise and then blue. Ooh. See if I can get more turquoise later. Just a little bit of turquoise. I'm going to do an ombre, so I'm going to start with like a turquoise color and then go to the ombre. That's okay if it's not perfect, because it's going to be blended in later. I tell you what, I'm so thankful I've had the opportunity to make some videos for you guys, because it sure helps when people are having technical difficulties in class, and we can just be like, well, here's the video. Sorry your class is not working, but you can go watch it on YouTube. So that does help. I promise I'm not obsessed with blue. It just happens that this background turned out blue, just like my other one. To be fair, I did pink for my Smarties, right? This would be fairly easy to do with your pastels. So you can either use watercolor, you can use your pastels. I mean, you could use colored pencil too. Just want to make sure it's as bright as you can get it because it's pop art and you really want it to pop. Now I gotta start being actually careful where I put my paintbrush, because I don't want to get it all over my Hershey label that I made. Right? And if you're using watercolor or you're using oil pastels and you don't have white, then just leave that spot blank and don't paint it at all, that label. You know? It'll work that way too. I have to say that because some of my classes, my students have acrylic paint and they're out of white right now, and I ordered it and it's been on back order for months. Like, I'm pretty sure I ordered it in November and I don't think they're even gonna get it this month. There's a white shortage as far as paint goes. The only thing I don't like about acrylic is if you have to do big area like this and it starts drying early. I don't like that. Acrylic dries so early, so sometimes you have to get something called a fluid retarder and add that to your acrylic so it doesn't dry as quickly. You've probably seen people add stuff to their paint in those acrylic dirty pours, where they pour different paints on a canvas and then they move the canvas around and let it kind of like wander the paint around let gravity do the painting. That would be an excellent tagline for a YouTube channel. We let gravity do the painting. Boom! Alright, here we go. From close up, since you watched me paint it, it doesn't look as spectacular, but I think if you just saw that from far away, it would definitely look like the folds in the foil and the shine and the pop art. So, woohoo! Done and done. So today we showed you the Smarties pop art candy close up. I showed you my Hershey's Kiss, and I showed you the simple conversation heart where you could write whatever you want to on there, and you could give it to somebody for Valentine's Day if you want. And that's it. Please upload your artwork to ArtSonia when you're done, and I can't wait to see it. Thanks. Bye.